Okay, from Ontario now, we have political commentator Jason Unruhe with us. Good to see you, Jason. Ankara is saying that what the U.S. wants us to do is unlawful, and we cannot do that. Is that unlawful demand that Washington is asking Ankara? And also, where do you see these things being directed at?
Well, I think there's a larger game going on here. There's obviously a great rift between the U.S. and Turkey right now. Now, the United States simply just can't demand that someone be turned over when they're facing trial for something inside of Turkey. The U.S. might have an argument if the pastor was being treated unfairly or they felt that they were not receiving a fair trial, but the U.S. has not put forth any evidence to support that position. Another country cannot just simply demand that somebody be handed over to them when they are facing crimes within the country, and that trial will determine the guilt or innocence of the pastor involved. I think that the U.S. is throwing its weight around, as it usually does, as it wields a great deal of economic and military power around the world. Right now, the U.S. is currently trying to sabotage the economy of Turkey because they are unwilling to hand over this particular pastor. The U.S. has no legal jurisdiction to simply demand that kind of concession from Turkey to simply hand this man over. And it's also tremendously hypocritical when we consider how many terrorists the United States supported in the past. Actual terrorists, not alleged terrorists, as this man is. How many people involved in the firebombing of Cuban sugar fields are living in Miami right now? Omega 88 and other organizations who have committed terrorist offenses, killed people inside of Cuba, receive safe coverage inside of Miami right now. The United States is certainly on no moral or legal ground to make any demands of Turkey in this situation, particularly given this history of the United States. And it seems like this is a very strict point of contention from the United States, particularly with regards to U.S. President Donald Trump, who enjoys a great deal of support from the evangelical and the Baptist community in the United States at large, and that perhaps if he cannot get this man extradited back to the United States, that this may be another slight. But Turkey certainly is well within its rights and its moral obligation to stand up for itself, to determine its own policy away from U.S. interference.
And one quick question, Jason. How much longer do you think that Ankara will persist in doing this and resisting against this U.S. request? It's hurting its economy bad.
I think that Ankara might hold on quite a bit longer. I think that this might be the line for them, that they're not willing to cross it. This might be where they're going to take a stand. And maybe in the future, this could be worked out into a deal. Maybe they'd be willing to hand him over to the United States in exchange for some of the sanctions being released. Who really knows? I mean, the relationship between Ankara and Washington has been very complicated. They've always been a very good ally, and then within the last couple months, there's been a great deal of friction between the two of them, given the way that U.S. President Donald Trump tends to face foreign relations. So I think that a lot of this is up in the air right now, but I think that some kind of a deal or some kind of an agreement may come between the two sides.
All right, appreciate that perspective. Jason Unruhe, political commentator from Ontario.